G'day all. Welcome to episode 59 of the Early Crow. We are Jack Dicko Dickens-less. He's feeling a little under the weather, so it'll just be Paps and I steering you through today. Before we rip in, the Early Crow is brought to you by Makita. Right now, get amazing bonuses on selected Makita XGT 40 volt and 80 volt max kits and combos for a limited time only. Visit makita.com.au for details. Makita XGT. More intelligent, more efficient, more power, more Makita. Papley, sunny Monday in Sydney, and absolutely fucking pissing down day in Melbourne today, mate. How are you?
Good, mate. You started well there. No mistake early, which is good to see. Great day
One
in
take
Sydney,
wonder.
mate. Yeah, good day in Sydney. Weather's been all right. It's just not too hot, but no rain and stuff, which is good. So I'm hearing it was pretty stinking hot there the last few days in Melbourne. Then you turn to pissing down rain. It's not like Melbourne, is it? It's fucking,
No, yeah, there's
of course,
been
it's like that.
100%, mate. Yesterday was as sticky as all get out and only got to like 23 degrees, about 95% humidity, and then it's rained all day today. It's the world's most livable, apparently, but the weather would be good if it was on our side. Mate, how was your weekend? Weekend in the den for you on Saturday?
Yeah, it was good. It was went up to the Den, watched all the races there, Kembla and Cranbourne, and a bit of Ascot and things like that. So it was good. Did a bit of a live podcast. So had to be a bit careful because it was live. But no, it was good. Great day up there. It's a great setup up there. They do it so well. And it's they're obviously busy doing their work and things like that. But yeah, it was great to have a good chat to them and do what we did.
Yeah, they I rewatched the live stream yesterday. I ventured out to Cranbourne with Dicko
Yeah,
on Saturday, but yeah, I rewatched it yesterday. I thought it was they do it really well, the Den. That's one thing they can definitely hang their hat on. Their live streams are pretty good, and I thought they asked you a few good questions, and mate, it was good to steer the punters into a few, and they were keen on Barrackeel in the media, right? And he said, no, boys, hold up here. Didn't drop the Dicko's keen, but you said I'm keen on the Darlin. Fucking stole the limelight, mate. Loved it.
so you can't be you've got to do that, don't you? Can't be saying it's Dicko's. It's mine for sure.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, it looked like a good day in the Den, mate. And yeah, well
It was
done on
good.
Saturday. It sounded sounded great.
How was Cranbourne? Or do you want to touch on that later?
Oh, fucking Cranbourne. Firstly, it's a mission getting out there, and I swung past the J. Dickens household to start with, and oh my God, was there shit going everywhere on Saturday at the Dickens household. His good friend Trent was around as well with his two young ones. And yeah, Trent's eldest son Mason is a handful. He's an Energizer bunny. He's a go-getter. He's wanted me to race him before I went to the races. I'm like, mate, it's 35 degrees outside. I'm not running up and down the concrete with you. Sorry, buddy.
Jesus.
Maybe next time. But yeah, went and picked Dicko up. Said g'day to Ems and the family, which was nice. Stole one of Dicko's hats, which was an absolute pleasure. It's the first time I've ever been to the races and not got sunburnt. First time ever. Put a little bit of sunscreen on my neck and had the hat on, and away we went. It was great, but oh fuck, it had it all. The third was delayed. I think it was the third or the fourth, whichever one the Genius was running in. Pretty sure it was the third. Dicko's standing in the mounting yard talking to the owners facing the winning post. I'm standing in the mounting yard facing the owners and him, but looking out into the distance, and I'm going, my eyes are reasonably good, but I swear to God, that's fire coming from one of the buildings. And sure enough, the hedge out the front of the restaurant was on fire. There's smoke blowing all down the course. So the jockeys had just got legged up on the horses, then they got sent back inside because there was smoke.
Yeah,
Fire brigade got called.
on the TV.
Yeah, it was nuts. I think it had to get ticked off by emergency services that everything was all good. It was a fire in a hedge. It got pretty big. And then after the race, Blake thought he felt something on Dicko's horse, the Genius, jumped off the horse at about 50 to 75 metres past the post and looked like he was trying to hold it up. He thought he felt something that went real wrong. The vets and everything ran onto the track. I think Dicko even made his way out on the track, and I'm thinking to myself, mate, what are you going to do? Try and stop the horse? But no, he's just genuinely concerned for his horse, as were all the owners. Then the scopes came back after the race. Nothing revealed in the scopes. Horse was happy as Larry. Had a wash down, and Dicko gave me the information this morning that he went and had a look this morning and was talking to Lee from Kieran Maher Racing, and everything was all good. So good news there. But in that matter of time, while he was doing all that stuff, he got a call from Gav, and Dicko thought that Gav was calling to give him ask him how his horse is going. Everything was all good, but Lazy Susan unfortunately pulled a plate and had to be scratched from the fifth. So in the matter of half an hour, we'd been delayed due to smoke because there was a fire on course, and then his Lazy Susan, which was going to be a live chance in that race, was scratched. So made it all happen. But Cranbourne Racing Club as a whole, that is a fantastic venue. I was pleasantly surprised how good it was. It's I won't say it's like the Valley because it's not. It's not that enclosed, but it gives you that similar sort of vibe. Like everything's kind of really close to each other, and yeah, I thought they did a really good job putting on a great day there. It was a shame that it was so hot, but it's a ripping venue, absolutely ripping venue. But yeah, there was plenty going on, and then there was an hour later there was a grass fire, mate. So fires galore.
Bit going on in Cranbourne.
Oh fuck, it was plenty going on, especially after driving for an hour and 15 to get to Dicko's joint and another 25 to Cranbourne. It was shit, my head was spinning by the end of it. But good day out on course. It's been nice to get out to a few of these different courses. I'd never been to Cranbourne before. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
That's good, mate.
But no, it was great. Where do we want to start? I've seen. I just had confirmation with Paps that he definitely didn't grace the training track today. But what, the year 1s to year 4s step out on to start training, mate? I think I saw a 2K time trial from the Swannies boys.
Yeah. The boys they won the 4 years first day today, so it's always a lot of anxiety through the room and the joints. So they had the 2K. So Corey Warner won it. I think he ran a pretty good time in the low 6s, so it's good going. And then they went across to the Oval and just did their session. I showed my face and said hello to the boys. So I'll wait till next week until I get into it. But enjoy my last week. But no, it was good to see all the young boys back. Bit of fire in their belly to get inside our 22 and start the year well.
Let me guess, a bit of alphaing going on. Did you turn up in plaid and kit to the Swans today, or did you put some training shorts and a training top on?
Nah, put some training shorts on.
Yep.
And a bit of a casual sort of training kit. So they've got a new sort of look. They're maroon red, which is interesting, but it was all right.
Yeah, love it, mate. What do you remember from back in those days? Obviously, is it if you're a second year, you're walking in like an alpha to that first training session of the year? Like, what's the difference between year 1 and year 2?
Because year 1, those draftees like going to school for the first day. They would have been very nervous and excited. They probably still pinch themselves that they're even on an AFL list, but it is very nerve wracking for a first year. You don't really know anyone. And you're sort of just ready to meet people and get amongst it. They won't really do much the first years for the next couple of weeks, but after Christmas they'll do a fair bit. So, but I reckon they're pretty reserved. The 1 to 4 years, they don't sort of shut around too much. So yeah, they were pretty good today.
And what's the expectation? Is it many of you elder statesmen get down and get around them? Like, what was the vibe at the club like today?
Yeah, it was good. The boys that sort of could train, I think Lizard and Juzzy and a few of those and Rowie and things like that, they trained. So it was good to see them down there, and a few of the older boys are sort of still away. They've like Rampy and things like that there. I think Brody Grundy was there, was one of the older ones, so it was good to see him down there. But yeah, we'll come back next week and get to work.
You looking forward to it?
Yeah, it's good. It's always I think when you're playing the grand final, that it's the shortest break you get, so it does go quick. But I'm ready to go and ready to get back into it. It's always pretty quick this next sort of 2 weeks, because then you're off for Christmas, and then you get back into it after January. So next couple of weeks will be good fun, and then sort of where serious stuff starts post Christmas into January and February. So yeah, look forward to it.
Now, you were running the mustache last week, and it looks like it's grown in a little bit. What's the what's going to be the pre-season vibes? Are we going to shave down and get that mustache in amongst it and change things up, or are we going to go the clean shave and look again, knowing that there's a few probably photographers around on day 1 of training?
Yeah, no, it'll be December 2 then, so I'll be able to shave them all off November. So just a clean shave, mate.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. And then obviously it's day 1, and you'll be getting to know the boys, especially those first years that have come through as well. But who's one of the players out of that 1 to 4 year group that you think might make a bit of an impact this year? And more than just an impact, obviously on field. I mean, you're not in the selection room right now and or doing any of that. But who do you think will have a bit of an impact around the club?
I think he played a couple of games last year. Caden Cleary, he's sort of one that can probably go through the midfield. Obviously, Luke Parker's out, and then another year older, so he's a good runner. Has improved his skills a lot and can play forward and mid. So that's really important these days to be able to go forward and still play your role down there. So he's probably one that I'd keep an eye on for this year. I think he'll play a fair few games and go well.
Love it, mate. Love it. What about the cricket, mate? I think we need to get onto this. I think as you and I talk now, Australia might still be 5 for 110, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was lunch.
I mean, fuck me. The day one, and that happens, and you're thinking, here we go, this summer of cricket might set up. But gee, how things came quickly crashing back to earth late day one going into day two.
Yeah, I can't remember it being sort of this grim in Australia since I've been around. It's pretty sort of, it's obviously only the first test, but in Perth you'd think we'd be suited to it. We've had our pants pulled down, so they'd want to be able to bounce back, because if you're going down 2-0, it's a long way back in Australia, and you don't want to be losing in Australia if you're an Australian cricket team. It doesn't happen very often, so. They got a fight on their hands, and not sure what they do with the team. Do they stick with it? The batters are under a lot of pressure, like Marnus and the like. So, what do they do with the opening bat? Do they keep McSweeney in for another one? I think you got to give him another go.
You have to, don't you? You can't destroy a young man's confidence just giving him one test. I could understand if they maybe shuffle the order around, and if he did slide down a little bit, to still give him that opportunity. But yeah, I hope they'd give him another go. I mean, he's obviously got talent. They picked him for a reason. He's facing one of the most, I don't want to say abnormal, because we've got people like Sean Tate, and that was a bit of and Lasith Malinga. They were kind of abnormal actions, but the way the current captain Jasper Bumrah goes about it, he's not like, he'd be an absolute handful. He doesn't steam in and just lets him go and gets his wrist like firmly behind the ball. I really hope they do give him another chance, but
they will. Right?
Yeah, it's a grim way to start the summer.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, it's going to be an interesting series, that's for sure. They're going to have to bounce back, and sort of makes it pretty exciting. I'll be glued to the TV though, but I suppose if they dish up another performance like that, you won't be too interested. But we're the Aussies, we can bounce back. I think when they're under the pump, most Australians can fight back and get the job done. So I look forward to the next test and see how we go.
Yeah, I'm not going to make excuses for it either, because I don't think there's many excuses with only making 100 in the first innings after the bowlers doing their job. And I mean, blokes like Hazelwood and Stark and Cummins like bowling their brains out on day one. The Indians definitely have had the better of the conditions. Like, that was a paradise to bat on yesterday, except towards the end when the ball started dying a little bit. But obviously the tosses had a huge influence on the game. Pretty amazing to think that India still weren't favourites at the end of day one. You still could have got over $2 for them, which I thought was crazy and a miss in hindsight.
Kingsley, I think he took them on the live stream about $1.90 or something. So he would have.
Yeah, that's very good wagering.
Un-Australian, but yeah.
Hey, you got to do these things. Cash rules are all, but yeah,
it is an interesting one though, because I think even like the batters, they weren't making runs in the Shield. And
they weren't playing Shield, mate. I think that's half the issue.
Obviously a lot of sports science and data these days. Less is more for most sort of professional athletes. But I think with batting, you want, I don't know, bat on ball and make a few runs to get your confidence back. None of them really made runs since, I don't even know. So it's good to see Heady having a crack at there. He's always one that can stand up and still play shots. So, but yeah, they're gonna get back into it pretty quick.
Yeah, I agree. I think in Australia, I still think the pinnacle of playing cricket for Australia is playing in the Test side and getting that baggy green. Like, I don't think anybody could debate that. And I think going forward, if we want to be fair dinkum and always put our best foot forward, I mean, a number of the players go over and play in English county system before we start playing tests in England. So what's the difference in doing that and not doing it at home in Australia? You know, they have the opportunity to play a few Shield games first. Understand that some blokes might have a big workload, but maybe that workload needs to disappear a little bit so that they can get some good time in the middle, especially in conditions facing a red ball. It's pretty hard with all these T20 leagues throwing so much money at people around the world, but I think we have to try and find a way to make it work and I'm not taking anything away from the way the Indians bowled. They have bowled outstanding this game. But you just love them to have a bit of a crack at the local level before going into the international scene to give them the best chance. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I thought Josh Hazlewood has been fucking outstanding this test. His bowling has been sublime. He just doesn't miss a beat, really.
Just wax away in that's the same spot.
Yeah. He's relentless.
Keeps steaming him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's relentless. I think him and Lyon were the only ones to go at under 3.5 and over for their economy rate. Basically all of yesterday. It was him and Lyon. Lyon took 2 for 96 off 39, and the Bush Horse was 1 for 28 off 21, backing up his 5 from the first innings. So I don't think I think the bowlers will be a little bit disappointed going, boys, if we could have just gritted a little bit more in the first innings, all right, India have batted out of their skins, but come on, boys, we've just rolled them for 150. Let's try and put a little bit of pressure back on. But yeah, it'll be interesting going forward. I think I've been lucky enough to play some cricket with some blokes who've played a lot higher cricket than me, and I think when you're under pressure, that sometimes can be the best time to score. And it's not about being reckless, but it's about being a little bit more positive and watching Marn block the ball and leave the ball 24/7. I know he's trying to get back into it himself. He's not doing that to be selfish, to go, boys, I'm just want to face a few pills and just hope for the best. That's the way he thinks he can best get himself in the game. But would have loved to have seen just a little bit more positive intent. I reckon if you get skittled for 70, it's better than getting skittled for 104. Trying to get the game on and trying to push the agenda. If we had been 100 in front after the first innings, you just don't know what that might have done mentally for India. But full credit to India, full credit to Jaiswal. What an innings that was across yesterday. Fucking full credit to King Kohli. He just stands up in the big moments as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, it was good yesterday. He had Marnus bowling half trackers to him, but anyway.
Well, that's a question I did want to ask you. What in this test so far, what do you reckon Marnus' strength's been if you exclude his fielding? So has he been better with the bat, better bowling lead spin, or better bowling bouncers? I think the bouncer option was his best trait so far this test.
Yeah, it's an interesting call to bring Marnus on. But yeah, wasn't a good sight to see him bowling, and that's when you know we're not going that well. So yep, Marnie's got a bit to go. He'll hopefully get back in form soon and save us.
Yep, I agree, because I don't know if they will drop him, but I got a text message in one of the inboxes or a message in one of the inboxes going, this looks like fucking proper park threes here. A bloke steaming in part-time, a bowl on half-trackers, and then decides that's not working for him, so he switched to leg spin, which was interesting. But yeah, you're right, mate. The one thing that we know about the Aussies is that they will grind and they will bounce back, and yeah, hopefully we see it. Hopefully we see it in the next test, which is, I think they've got a bit of a break. I think they've got about a 10-day break after this, so hopefully they can go and play some golf and refresh and get back into training and then get into it for the second test and try and get one back.
Yeah.
Mate, the good news, the Bisons hit 2 sixes, so that's a start. So
really?
They're the things, they're the things that we've got to look for, I think.
How many did Pan hit the other day?
Pant has only hit 1. Kohli's had 2 so far. That Natish Reedy's hit 3. So I think we've got the Bison is currently second on 2, and surprisingly, even though he's on 75 of 86, T-Head has not hit 1 yet. So yeah, we need him to salute. We need to.
We need Heady making runs at Adelaide Oval or something like that, because it's smaller ground. Because that's where first, obviously, big ground, hard to hit sixes, but Heady can get 100 at Adelaide Oval. I reckon he hit 5 sixes in that, 4 or 5.
I agree. Back to his home ground. The only concern for me is what might Boomer be like under lights in the dusk, bowling with a pink ball. That could be very, very interesting. But some good cricket coming up. Sorry, mate, just smacking that beautiful smoothie that I made. Just trying to keep myself hydrated. shall we go on to the main segment, usually of the Crow, Eyes on Ponies, which is brought to you by CTW Excavations. They'll go where the big boys won't. Where do we want to start, mate? Do we want to start at Cranbourne? Do we want to start at Kembla? Should we
We'll
start?
start at Kembla and finish with Cranny, I reckon.
Yep. And then have you had a look at your ride of the week this week? I've got one straight off the top if we want to get into it.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah, mate. Dicko, and there's no interest like self-interest. Dicko's had a nice little 2-unit play on this on a Friday night. Had backed it on Saturday thanks to one of the boys in the group, Harrow. Pointed out to him that it was scooting around the valley on Friday night, and we quickly snapped up $4. I think it started $3.50. Mick D's ride on Grand Larceny in the 6th at Moonee Valley was a very, very good ride. So he stepped half slow, and by half slow, I'm talking like half a length as compared to about 5 or 6 horses on his outside and 1 on his inside. And amazingly, the one that stepped faster than him on the inside, which was, I think it was called Old Time Rock, Mick D's actually been able to keep it in the pocket by pushing up and being positive around the bend at about the 300-metre mark, and I honestly reckon that is what's won him the race. So at about the 800, he started pushing on Grand Larceny to make sure that he kept up with the field and wasn't just sitting there passive on it. He's then peeled out at the top of the straight around the bend, and as Old Time Rocks tried to get out of the pocket, he's closed the door completely on that horse, and it's ended up saluting by about a length. It was a proper ride. You see some riders in that instance get flushed out the back and then have to make up too much ground, but him being positive at the 800-metre mark and pushing that horse forward, it hasn't run the fastest last in the race. It was all by the competitive riders around him. So by being able to do that, it ran by far the fastest split from the 4 to the 2. He's put himself in a proper position to let that horse win the race, and it's been able to hold on. There were a few fast finishes. So MD on Grand Larceny in race 6 on Friday night at the Valley was a genuine peach for the Hawk stable.
Nice, mate. I'll go Pisanello. I heard he's a Pisanello, how you started.
Is it the Godolphin horse?
Yeah, Godolphin was good. Coming off the fence at Kembla, sort of lanes 1 to 6, sort of impure, and they end up just keep coming out. And so lane 6 was probably really lane 1.
Yep.
But Hippo didn't worry about it. Went back to the inside. If you remember this horse, it was J-Mac was on it down the straight. Probably should have been on it myself with the late drift. But yeah, I thought Hippo was good. Went back to the inside. Didn't worry about that sort of inferior ground because they were coming out so wide, and sort of sat midfield and then come up the inside. So a pretty good ride, a winning ride, from Hippo. The other one was Super Razi.
Ben Spriggs?
Yeah, Blake Spriggs. Blake Spriggs,
my apologies.
Drawn wide and sort of slotted in. Drew 13. Gringotts was 14, went forward, but didn't win Super Razi. But he sort of was three wide with cover. And about the 600-metre mark, he sort of got going earlier and come around at the 400-metre mark, sort of on speed, and that's where he wanted to be on the day. Didn't get the job done, but I think if he sort of stayed and waiting for a run before the bend, he wouldn't even be in the finish. So I thought that was a great ride from Spriggs.
He flushed it in the next as well, hey? What about a little bit of, let's talk about it, mate, a bit of head wall action? Yeah,
that was another great sort of ride as well. He's really good, Blake Spriggs, on the weekend. He's going all right for a sort of a lower sort of rider compared to the big boys. But yeah, that was great. I think the only 2 races that sort of made ground on the day were the 1,000-metre races, and they were run slowly. So, as you know, in the 1,000-metre races, I think fast is better, and don't let the back markers come into it because of the 1,000-metre race. So the 2 races that were run slowly, they're the ones that sort of made ground from Worsley midfield, and luckily we were on head wall, and it was a great ride down the outside.
100% it was. And what did you make of the return of Fleetwood, mate, with Kieran McAvoy in the saddle? It didn't drift at all in the market. It stayed firm at $7.50. How do you think you saw it return?
Yeah, that was a good run, mate. First up, I think Worsley midfield, obviously sort of head wall come from behind it. But I think, obviously slowly run race, but come home well. It's actually come up with poor recovery, so I think sort of adds to its run. Wasn't at 100%, and I think you can sort of follow it through this prep and see where it lines up. Obviously drew a wide draw, so get wide to inside draw. Came back on, can land handy spot. I think, yeah, second and third up might be going close in a sort of similar grade. It's obviously Group 3, so down the track it's probably going to race in a little bit lower even, so see how we go.
Yep. And Dicko's man in Sydney for the mailbag, Rob Scurry, was actually reasonably impressed by the way Dragonstone went about it for
Mm,
Joey Pride. He's was rapt to see that it was actually able to show a little bit of tactical versatility and sit actually up on speed. I mean, it's carried the 59 kilos and the winner's carried about 53, so was pretty
yeah.
tough up on speed.
Yeah, it's actually sort of this prep is if you go through its runs, I'm just looking at it now, it's sort of been a horse that said it was mid to worse than midfield. And Joey Pride's obviously done some barrier work with it or tried some different stuff, and now he's sort of bouncing out of the gates and landing handy. So it's always better when your horses can land handy because that's where you'd rather be than back of the field. So yeah, it's going well this prep. Obviously only lost half a length to Headwall and won the previous start. So yeah, it's in for a good prep as well.
And speaking of Rob, with the mailbag, he is yet to have a December winning month, so he's put the challenge out and put it out to anybody who wants to get involved. He's doing a free month of Mounting Yard Mail via themailbag.com.au. To get involved, go to Twitter, find Rob. It's at Rob the Mailbag, at ROBTHEMAILBAG, all one word. Follow Scuzz on Twitter and send him a DM of how to get involved. He's doing a free month. That is right, a free month of Mounting Yard Mail for anybody who wants it. So Paps will still give you the plays on Eyes on Ponies. It's just a massive tick over the top if Paps and him both line up for one, or Paps, I know how you potentially use it as well. He'll call out if horses don't look right, or if they look like they're a little bit over the top, or if they look a little bit sweaty, and you're actually able to potentially lay a few horses as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think you might have been a bit way too late if you haven't got in yet, but you can always still get in. I think he won 17 units or something on the weekend, which is ridiculous going, and he was from the couch. Is that what I'm
Yep,
hearing?
that
Um,
is
so
correct.
so yeah, getting the scars. I think it's a really important tool. If he can stamp one that I like, or even um, if I'm on one and he doesn't like it from the yard, you sort of just don't back it. Or even if
Yep,
I'm 50-50 and he does like it, he sort of stamps it. I'm usually one to sort of have a bet then. So yeah, he's great from the yard and he's a good man, Scars.
yep. He is a great man, Scuzz. Get involved. Follow him on Twitter and send him a DM. That's from themailbag.com.au. Paps, let's talk about the Gong, the Group 3 $1 million race. How good is Gringotts?
Yeah, I think the last two starts, which has been huge, has gone forward with no speed in the race. Um, and it did that again. Tommy Berry, he gave it a bit over the line, didn't he? He really loved the win um,
Yep.
for a Group 3, so it's good to see. A bit of Tommy with a bit of passion, but yeah, another great ride. There was no speed in the race. Um, and yeah, he just settled forward and it was tough. I think Super Razzie sort of looked like it might have been able to run it down, but then found another gear. Um, yeah, and went really well. So it was sort of an evenly run race. Its number compared to its last number was a lot lower. But its last run sort of set up because it was tough on speed. It was a really good run last start, peak PB last start, and obviously it's digressed. But yeah, I think um, if you look at it, might be able to snag like a weak Group 1 somewhere in the autumn. I'd be surprised if it sort of won a big Group 1, but definitely in the group can win a Group 2, and if it goes again next prep down at Bong Bong, put it in the hyperbaric chamber. You never know, we'll get a Group 1 to its name.
Love that. And I think on that Super Razzie, I think Dicko found that it was about 4 starts ago at Caulfield. It was not suited worse than midfield with cover and went good. And then it backed it up again in was it the Crystal Mile against Plenty of Ammo, not suited, no intent, back and good again. It's a shame that it's been done by 1.7 lengths and zero point 0.8 lengths, but it's been up for a while now, so it's a 6-year-old gelding. Who knows if it'll continue racing, but probably potentially one to pop in your black book for next preparation, whenever that may be, and see if you can make some money out of it. Because you're right, mate, the horse is going super. It just needs to be able to hopefully get first past the winning post. Was there any other horses that caught your eye from Kembla Grange on Saturday?
Um, Sort of haven't really done a thorough review of
Yep.
all the races. Sort of just got the pattern and things like that. So,
Yep.
not much really to take note. But yeah, it's sort of an interesting meeting. The provincial meeting on a Saturday. Not sure where they're racing next week, but yeah, we'll see how the meeting holds up, and there we go.
Yeah, I think is that something that you do. I know Dicko does it a bit. That when you're not sure to what to make of a meeting, you'll make a note on the meeting, but you potentially will go back and review that note and then make any changes if needed, if the form's been good or if the form hasn't quite stood up.
Yeah, I think it's sort of hard to judge until the form sort of comes out of it. You know what I mean? You can't
Yep.
really say too much until you actually see it, because then you're actually sort of guessing. What I think, but the numbers were the data that's come through, like, isn't sort of super well, but yeah, I think you can sort of keep an eye on the meeting. If you don't see much form coming through it, I think you can sort of put a mark to it and say no form coming out of this meeting.
Yep. Yep. Fair enough. I had a quick chat with Dicko this morning on Cranbourne. The rail was out 3. Was definitely a day where you wanted to be up on speed, but more importantly in lanes 1 and 2.
Yeah,
They were up near those rails. There were, I think, from memory, there was only 2 winners that come from outside lane 1 and lane 2, which is very interesting when you're reviewing a meeting. It looked like it was mainly on pace, but I mean, a few of the tempos in the earlier races, they've absolutely fucking crawled.
yeah,
So that is always, if you've got a horse that is up on speed that does have somewhat of a turn of foot, that can um, skew the data a little bit. 6 winners were in lane 1, 3 winners were in lane 2, and 1 winner was in lane 3, all at the 600 metre mark. So, bit of an interesting day. We came out for Dicko's subs at the mailbag.com.au on the rated prices package with a slight win. I mean, Wings of Song has run an enormous race to knock Brazen Lady off, which was a sickening result. But then to go against the flow and to go with a little bit of flow of the money late, we've taken $6 for Nadal, and it started $4.40. But mate, how good was watching Nadal win that meteorite and doing it comfortably?
it was good, wasn't it? Sort of, I think when you look at the race and look at the pattern of the day, I was like, oh geez, I'm sort of, you'd probably rather have your bet on the favourite
Yep.
with the pattern, but sort of the race set it up for Nadal, the bit quicker tempo, which was good, helped him get in the run. But geez, it's gone massive compared to the race, and yeah, I think it looks a horse to sort of watch next campaign. Interested to see what did Dicko sort of mention. Anything about that horse in the next prep? What do you think it can
Yeah.
go Group 1 or?
Yeah, he thinks so. Yeah, he does think it will be competitive. Whether it can win a Group 1, I mean, it is a big step up. But that's 2 big back-to-back figures that it's done now. It's run a big figure to come home in. I think it's run the fastest last 1,000 meters of the meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a very very big performance, and geez, it made them all look second rate. And there's a few good horses in there. Like he's also called out. Ray Magnirio's gone enormous again. That horse being able to sit actually up on speed, which is different again from its racing pattern previously. That'll give that horse more opportunities to win more races. One of the big things I've learned from Dicko, and you're probably the same, perhaps, is the lengths that you can get at the start of a race have a huge impact of how many times you can actually win towards the back end of a race when you don't actually have to make those lengths up when every horse is accelerating. So that's, I mean, Dale's completely defied that logic, and some horses can, but yeah, that Ray's gone really, really good yet again. The 3 that he's keen to follow from the meeting and to pop in your Blackbook is Ambassadorial. Yes, Ambassadorial was up on speed, but there was a bit of a mid-race move in that race with the slow tempo, and it was not suited very tough. And it's a fit horse who's going to race up on speed. That's going to be a lot more suited than other horses. Brazen Lady, she's flying badly not suited and hammered into the line. And then Spacewalk. Spacewalk really couldn't win from where it settled and has hit the line super. So if you're wanting 3 horses to follow punters, they are from Jay Dickens himself. But he was on the Cranbourne Cup, mate. He thought Globe did get all favours in front. They've gone pretty even, and it's just found the right lanes and managed to kick through. But being pretty tough at the same time, being a hot day. But a lot of form analysts might find that horse is completely and utterly back, and there might be an opportunity to bet around it next start, just due to the fact that it was suited and they haven't gone too hard. And then he didn't mention this on the show, but Wings of Song has gone pretty well first up there. I know it was a winner and it might be pretty obvious, but this is a horse that had never won below 1,600 metres before. It was friendless in the market. I think it was about 18s out to 26s. And yeah, it's won very, very well on the weekend. It was not suited worse than midfield and buried, and it did save the ground. It was in those better lanes, but it was very, very good late. So that might be a horse that you can follow that the market may not find with that starting price profile. So I'd be popping that one in your black books as well, now being trained by Patrick and Michelle Payne. I don't have too much more to take from Cranbourne, bar the fact that you went inside to get relief from the smoke, and unfortunately they had evaporative air conditioning trying to cool punters down that was just dragging the smoke in from the outside, and it was like a pub in the 90s, just the smoke haze in the place. But great day out on course at Cranbourne. I'd highly encourage anybody who is thinking about getting out to a country or a provincial track over the summer months. It's great fun. I was in the members and the owners call each race club just to make sure. But mate, I had Burks on and just a linen shirt and shorts with a hat on. It was a really, really good atmosphere. And speaking of, Dicko and I are hosting Werribee Cup Day in the stalls. That's coming up. That's Sunday, the 8th of December. Tickets are on sale if you Google Werribee Racing Club and find the stalls. That'll be me and Dicko there. I don't know if you caught any footage of Gano and Beery in Beery's marquee from the weekend, but that looked like it was a hell of a lot of fun, and that's the atmosphere Dicko and I want to try and create with raw home a few winners and interview a few industry participants. So it's $135 a ticket if you're a non-member, $120 for a member. It's a 5-hour drinks package, cold can package with some food sprinkled throughout the day. We'll run a punters club and we'll interview a few of the industry participants. So get involved, come down, Werribee Racing Club on Sunday, the 8th of December for Werribee Cup Day, and pray Dicko's able to get a few horses to run around on that day as well. It should be a good bit of fun.
Bloody oath. And I'll do a bit of Hawkesbury form as well and hopefully find a few up north in the New South Wales. So see how we go, and hopefully, it did look like a good day down there. I spoke to Gano and he said,
"Did you?"
And he said one of his best days on track. So obviously, when you're winning on the punt, it helps. But it looked like a good day.
And not only that, they steamed into Beery's horse in the last, which got the job done too, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. That is that's really, really good going, we're involved in a couple of group chats with Beery's, a ripping bloke, and to see him to get a winner in the last and for them to win in the punters club, what a way to round out the day there at Kembla.
Bloody oath.
Did you catch anything in Ascot, mate, or were you done and dusted by then for the races?
Did I? I sort of watched a couple of races. Poor old Darren, what's his name? Darren.
Darren McCauley, yep.
McCauley, he's copped a fair bit of stick, but everyone makes a mistake, don't they? But
yep.
Unfortunate, but he's sort of. I've seen they've obviously he's called it again or something, has he? Because all the reels coming up, which is good to see. He's obviously.
Yep.
I think you could see he was pretty flat with it, but he's got a. I find him a great caller for WA racing, so he's got another couple of good meetings coming up, and looked like it played pretty well. Ascot. Pikey rode a few winners, so I'm sure a few punters on track would have backed a few winners.
Yep, 100%. You could hear it in his voice when he saw that Port Lockroy had won, and it wasn't in fact Sox Nation. You could hear it when they flashed up on screen, and then he realised the number he was looking at. It's it'd be a tough gig. He's got it wrong on the big stage. You can't deny what's happened.
Yeah.
But what an awesome thing to do to go and recall it for the owners as well. He almost called it the same and just made sure that he said the right name this time. Because if you own that horse,
you want that,
you might be a 2.5% over, even potentially if they do smaller shares than that, you're going with a mate and you've got a Group 1 winner, and to have the wrong name called over the top of the audio would be a bit harsh. But yeah, good on them for going back and redoing it. I thought that was good content, and good
That's
on him for
good.
doing it, and good on him for owning his mistake. Fuck, we all make mistakes. Who
Yeah,
cares?
he owned it as well. That's great as well, I reckon.
Yeah.
So, good on him. Good on him.
No, 100%. And then the only other thing that I wanted to say about a race call on the weekend, I know you were in the Den. Did you listen to the gong? Did you listen to that race or not?
Geez. No, I'll definitely listen to it. I like listening to him when I'm reviewing, but no, I didn't. What
Mate,
happened?
listen to it and have the lens of, did Darren Flindell absolutely steam into Territory Express or not? Because
Oh,
as the gates open, he's gone, oh no. And there was like just an awkward pause. I was driving back from
yeah.
Cranbourne at the time. I had to come home for the little one and to give Michelle a chop out. And he's gone, oh no. Territory Express has been a bad boy and missed it by 5 lengths or whatever he said. I reckon Darren Flindell's had a little bit of a wager upon that horse, and it's missed the start.
He does have a sort of knack of being slow away at the old Territory Express, so he might have had might have had a bit on him.
Yeah, it sounded like it. If you haven't watched that replay, you can go to the Racing New South Wales website and rewatch it. That's an absolute cracker, I reckon. Yeah, it was pretty good.
All right, mate. What do you reckon?
Yeah, that probably wraps us up for episode 59 of the Early Crow. I mean, shit, mate, we've got out of this one pretty lightly. We haven't had to do too many retakes, which is a bit rare for me and you.
Jeez, you've absolutely dominated today. So good work, mate. Insane. You're 2 from 2, hosted without Dicko, and you might be out of job soon.
Yeah, well, I know he was feeling a bit under the weather, and then he was getting called from left, right, and centre from trainers. He's just weaseling his way into a few other things. I think the Queen of Racing Gay might have given him a little bell on the phone as well. So he'd even though he's feeling a bit crook, he'd be feeling a little bit up and about now, I reckon, Dicko. But,
Gee whiz.
Yeah, I know. That was episode 59, which happens to be Brett Lee's highest test score, which I thought was pretty interesting. But that one's brought to you by Makita, makita.com.au for details. Makita XGT, more intelligent, more efficient, more power, more Makita.
Makita.
Paps, thank you very much. That was very enjoyable. We'll be back on Thursday for the Captain's Run. If you've enjoyed this episode, give us 5 stars on Spotify and follow us on YouTube. That would be much appreciated. Enjoy your week and bye for now.
Bye for now.